Right, so we are looking at standard form, okay, but multiplication and division. Now, maybe you've looked at adding and subtracting, okay, believe it or not, this one's a little bit easier. So we have got 2 times 10 to the power of 4. I'm going to multiply that then by 3 times 10 to the power of 3, or 10 cubed. So some questions, you might have brackets around each of the standard forms. Doesn't make any difference, okay? Please don't get confused if you see the brackets. So what we're going to do, we're going to multiply our numbers. So 2 times 3 is 6. Then we've got 10 to the power of 4 times 10 to the power of 3. Now, when we are multiplying, okay, there's something we have to do to the powers, okay? When we multiply, we add the powers, and that's it. Just like that. This is in standard form, so I've got one digit before the decimal point. So I've times my numbers, and then use my indices rule when it comes to the powers. Easy peasy. But here, I've got a negative power. The process is still exactly the same. Let's look at our numbers first. Well, 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, we know it's going to be 8 times 10. Now let's look at the powers. Minus 2, because we are multiplying, we have to add the powers. So now we have minus 2, add 6. Think of a number line. On minus 2, add 6 to have the power of 4. So numbers here, powers here. How about then if we have 2 negatives? Well, 3 times 2 is 6. And then I've got 10 to the power of minus 4 times 10 to the power of minus 3. So we have to add these powers together. So we have minus 4 add minus 3. Well, plus and a minus is a minus. Think of a number line again. Minus 4, take away 3, we end up on minus 7. Okay, so a couple of different rules here. Basic multiplication, laws of indices, adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers. How about here though? I've got 6 multiplied by 3, which is 18. We know it's going to be times 10. But then when we multiply to add the powers, well, 3 add 4 is 7. Job done, you might say. However, this is not in standard form, because to put it in standard form, it needs to have 1 digit in front of the decimal point. So we're going to convert this to 1.8 times 10 to the power of, well, this number here now is 10 times smaller than 18. So if this is 10 times smaller, we need to make this 10 times bigger to compensate it, okay? So if this one's become smaller, this one has to become bigger. So use power to compensate. Okay, so when you get to this stage, ask yourself, is it in standard form? So here then, let's multiply the numbers. Well, 5 7s are 35 times 10 to the power of minus 3 add minus 4, minus 3 plus minus 4 plus the minus to the minus. So that'll be minus 7. This is not standard form though. So it needs to be 3.5 times 10 to the power of, if this has got smaller, this needs to get bigger. Think of the number line again. If I'm on minus 7, one step bigger is minus 6. Okay, I know you're tempted to think 7, oh, bigger, 8, but when it's negatives, think of temperatures. Minus 6 is a bit warmer than minus 7, so it's got to be one step bigger to overcompensate. Okay, dividing then. Exactly the same principle. So I've got 8 divided by 4, which is 2, times 10 to the power of when we divide, we subtract the powers. Well, 6 take away 4 is 2. Is that a standard form? Yes, it is. Easy peasy. Here then, 2.7 times 10 to the power of 6 divided by 9 times 10 to the power of 4. Well, 2.7 divided by 9 is 0.3 times 10 to the power of 6 take away 4 is 2. Is it a standard form? No, it's not. So we need to make this also 10 times bigger. So if that's 10 times bigger, this needs to be 10 times smaller. Okay? Remember, use the powers to compensate. Here then, 2.8 divided by 7, okay, is 0.4 times 10 to the power of 4 take away minus 2, minus the plus, so that'll be 6. Let's make it a standard form. 4 times 10 to the power of, well, if this is 10 times bigger, this is going to be 10 times smaller. Last one, 3.6 divided by 4 is 0.9 times 10 to the power of minus 2 take away minus 6. So we add there minus 2, add 6 is 4. Convert to standard form, 9 times 10 to the power of, this is 10 times bigger, this is going to get 10 times smaller. So for these, it's just about practice, okay? Practice, 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 and you'll realise then how naturally you write this on the side here. Use different colour pens, it really does help. And obviously ask yourself every time, oh, is that a standard form? If it's not, convert, remember, use the powers to compensate. Hope it helps.